As a child, I grew up looking after the cattle and horses of my father. We used to bring our horses for racing. We have lost and we have won. As a child looking after the cattle and horses, I feel blessed. I remember when I took my horses and cattle out and let them graze. I remember how it feels when our horses flee because the rope was broken and then they were fighting each other. And we had to catch them under a very torrent rain, sometimes at night, and sometimes I was alone. Graduating from a high school, and I was going to go to a university, it wasn't that easy for me. I didn't know how the test looked like. I didn't know how the test would be like. But remember, one day one of my school teachers was offering me an application to apply for the Department of Animal Science, the University of Mataram. And in that time, only 5 students who were actually interested in filling in the application. They were directly sent into the Department of Animal Science, the University of Mataram. And I was one of them. The other 4 were my close friends. However, I was the only person who actually took that offer, even though 5 of us were accepted in the Department of Animal Science. In that time, animal science major was a major that everyone has overlooked. It wasn't considered as a prestigious major, so that people wouldn't be interested in going to the animal science department because they thought that other departments like education and teaching program, health and nursing department would be much more appealing. And I took that for granted. Even though in the beginning I really wanted to be a math teacher, but certain thing happening in the end of my high school years. There was an accident in the cattle housing where I stepped on a very sharp black nail that hurt me and injured me that I couldn't walk for about a month. A month in which the test to come to the University of Mataram was conducted. And I decided just by taking to take the animal science department that offered me free admission. Though I still wanted to move out to the Department of Teaching and Education. However, after days and days, I went through being a student of Animal Science Department. I got lots of motivation to actually stay in the Department of Animal Science because I saw some professors who were graduating from the Animal Science Department became the professors, became the doctors, became one of the most eminent professors or lecturers in the University of Mataram. And they were really inspiring to me. And one day I joined a seminar where one of the professors in Animal Science Department delivered a speech or presentation about his journey, how he could get his professorship and how he graduated from one of the best universities in the world, University of Queensland. So one of the things he highlighted was that he, as the graduate of animal science, was able to actually achieve that kind of achievement. And I was imagining in that time how difficult it was to actually access the information, to actually learn English, to actually go abroad. And he, as the graduate of animal science was succeeding in that way. It was so inspiring for me, and it opened my mind. I decided not to move or quit from the animal science department. I decided to go home, telling my mom. When I arrived at home, my mom had a question to me. Did you ask again about the possibility of moving out from the animal science department to the education and teaching training program? I said yes, it is possible, as long as we can maintain a GPA of about 3.5 or higher. And my mom was happy. But I told my mom I cancelled that plan. I needed to stay at the animal science department because I wanted to go to Australia and study, just like my lecturer, like my professor, who told me that he was the graduate of the animal science department, and now he's a professor and he's so famous, and I really loved his speech. My mom's response was like, are you sure? Are you sure, my son? And I told her, yes, ma'am, I am. I just need your dua. I just need your prayer. And my mom just prayed for me. She said, I hope and I pray for you so that one day you can study in Australia and graduate from there and become successful. The University of Mataram has become a stepping stone for me. It was giving me a lot of chance and opportunities to achieve something that was impossible before. During the first semester, I was wondering what a GPA is. I heard a lot of people saying that your GPA doesn't guarantee success in the future. Then I started being involved in more organizations. And one day I was invited to the event where the head of that organization, or the president, would be selected or elected. And I didn't know that I was the person who was going to be given the responsibility to be the president or the head of that organization. The organization was called MT An-Nahl, Majlis Ta'alim An-Nahl. Even though I wasn't really into organization, I didn't know what it means to be a leader, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what a program is like. I didn't know much about that, but I just kept going. My seniors in that organization knew that I was not doing much, and they just allowed me. They didn't criticize me. They just asked me to learn. Then I started to become a head of the committee of one of the national meeting of animal science students. So we invited animal science